And one funny story, as we were starting this, we bid on a contract. We didn't have any contracts yet. And I just thought it was a logistics, picking up all the bakery goods in Florence and delivering them throughout the state of Arizona to the 19 different prisons. And I just thought, oh, we're never going to get this. We don't know. We don't have experience in this, but let's give it a try. And so we gave it our best shot. And I got a call June 15th saying, congratulations, you were awarded this contract. And at first I thought, oh my goodness, did I not bid this right? Like, I was really doubting myself, honestly. And we started doing the contract and we did great. And we held it for probably about a decade.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Her Table, Her Rules. I'm your host, Juliet Peters, and today I am super excited to have Ginger Clayton with us. Ginger is a woman-owned business, a very large business called Elantech, and we'll get into what it is that Elantech does. And then Ginger also always has other entrepreneurial ventures going, and she also has a nonprofit which does amazing work called the Diaper Bank. So we'll get into all of that. But one of the reasons, thank you, Ginger, for being here today, by the way.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, one of the reasons that I'm super excited to have Ginger is because Ginger's story on building the business is really, really incredible, because how the business started and where it is now are completely different, and they've had to do a lot of reinvention through the years. So will you tell everybody kind of how Elantech started and how it started and what it does now, and then we'll get into all of the kind of various points through the company's history where you had to pivot.
Yes.
Hard.
Yeah. Yes, pivot hard. I'm just
pivots.
built on pivots,
Right,
basically.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So in 1997, we were actually founded as an IT company. The outsource IT provider for small and medium-sized businesses, and then added on low-voltage cabling, voice over IP telephone systems, CCTV video surveillance, and card access.
Yeah.
All right, those pieces. Then 9/11 happened, and we had 3 kids, and we're pregnant with number 4, and the economy after 9/11 was very difficult.
terrible.
Right? It was just terrible. And we thought, well, how are we going to pull out of this? My husband and I work in the business. He was an IT engineer. And we just thought, this is tough.
Yeah.
We called it the tuna pea wiggle days because it's all we could afford to eat, right? Yeah. And so we just decided we're going to go to our clients and ask them, if there's something else that we could do for you, what might that be?
Yeah.
And we went to one longstanding client and said, hey, if there's something else that we could do for you, what might that be?
Yeah.
They had just gone through a commercial move, and they said, well, you moved our servers, you moved our computers, you moved our printers. If you could have just moved the furniture, that would have been great, because of whatever issues they had with their moving company. And I thought, gosh, you know what? They go together.
Yeah.
They go together. When companies are moving, they need cabling, they need video surveillance, they need card access, audiovisual, they need all of those pieces, as well as all their technology moved, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of our friends, I belong to a business owner group, which is fairly male dominated. And I was also fairly young at the time, right? And most of them were probably old enough to be my dad or my uncle.
Yeah.
And I was telling them this idea, and they just thought I was crazy. Oh, sweetheart, no, no, that's just too different, starting a moving company from an IT company.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? And you know what? We just thought about it, and even tried like developing a relationship with somebody, an individual that worked for a moving company, and just really saw how it could help.
Yeah.
And so by the end of that year, we partnered with somebody from the industry, a minority partner, who had the skill set for commercial moving, and started relocation management specialists. So 2 different companies. We also owned a small ISP as well, which we later sold to help fund the growth of the other entities. And within the first year, we tripled our business. We were 1 million before, we went to 3 million with the relocation division. It just went together. So I got to go back to that meeting and say, hey guys, guess what? It worked. And we learned a lot.
Yeah.
We did learn a lot. And unfortunately, we did end up parting ways with that business partner. We just had a very gross misalignment of values and beliefs.
Yeah.
And so we ended up parting ways. And then one of our clients said, we're getting 3 different bills from you for the 3 different entities.
Yeah.
Could we just get one bill? And I said, you know what? That sounds kind of nice, right? Just let's have one company. So we rebranded into what is now known as Elantech.
Yes.
And we had technology, relocation, and telecommunications were the 3 divisions at that time. Okay. And so we're going along for a couple of years and growing and getting on contracts with the state of Arizona, which was a game changer for us. And one funny story, as we were starting this, we bid on a contract. We didn't have any contracts yet. It was with the state of Arizona Correctional Industries. And I just thought it was a logistics, picking up all the bakery goods in Florence and delivering them throughout the state of Arizona to the 19 different prisons. And I just thought, we're never going to get this. We don't know. We don't have experience in this, but let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Right? And so we gave it our best shot. And I got a call June 15th saying, congratulations, you were awarded this contract, right?
That's amazing.
And at first I thought, oh my goodness, did I not bid this right? Like I was really doubting myself, honestly. And we started doing the contract and we did great. And we held it for probably about a decade.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really an amazing way for us to get started with our first trucks.
Yeah. So what I love about this story, Ginger, is first of all, pivoting. Second of all, really doing it against advice, right? Because, certainly when you're in a CEO group like that, part of the benefit of being in a CEO group, right, is you're supposed to pull the expertise from other people, and they thought you were crazy. But
they did.
You didn't think you were crazy, right?
I thought we had something.
Yeah.
And it turns out that we did. And, we took a risk, but we did it
carefully. Right.
Yes.
Because, and I want to focus on that for 1 second, because I love the idea that even though partnerships are difficult and they don't always work out, it certainly was an entree into an area of the business you wouldn't have otherwise. You would have had to been fumbling around.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that experience and the valuable things that we learned. And when we started, we were renting trucks.
Yeah.
We were hiring subcontractors for the movers and for the drivers, and so we eased into it.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a ton of capital outlay, which made it really possible for us to test drive it, beta test it, if you will.
Right.
And then when we realized this is really working, then we could really throw all in. And but that contract really helped us to buy our first trucks, our first semi. Right. We had several box trucks and CDL drivers and all of those pieces. And
yeah, because that's a very expensive. Like if you were going to start that from scratch, it's super expensive. And not only just to buy the vehicle, the trucks, but also then you have to have a different licensure of driver. It's a different, it's
bonding,
kind of
insurance.
Right. It's all
it was a whole, we had 2 weeks to get that contract up and running.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So it was really exciting.
That's
and fun.
awesome.
And we did it.
That's awesome. And then from there, right, now you make yet another leap into really providing furniture, which is a completely different animal.
Well, and how that came about is, you might recall 2008, right? Recession.
Another economic,
And so I've kind of learned by this point that we've had some success in finding a problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, what is the problem here? Well, the problem found me. I had a commercial property manager call me and say, Ginger, I've got a problem. I have a business that went out of business overnight and left me with 4 floors of furniture.
Holy
Yes.
moly.
Can you please, I need to get this furniture out of here.
Yeah.
Can you get it out of here for me? I said, yes. And then we'll figure out what to do with it. So that's when we started selling used furniture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you started really with the used furniture first.
We started with used
Yeah.
through this necessity of a client of ours, or really a referral partner, a commercial property manager, who was in dire need to clear this space out so he could rent it. And so we started with the used furniture. But then at the same time, over these couple of years of having the moving company, keep in mind we were only a commercial moving company. And one of the things that I learned when we started this was that most moving companies do not have furniture installers on staff because they also do a lot of household
Right. They're not primarily
residential. They're not primarily commercial. And for us, that just didn't make sense. So we hired furniture installers. Right?
Yeah.
So we actually ended up starting getting work for furniture dealerships installing furniture. We ended up with a very large contract installing furniture for a small business that then got bought by a larger business and then got bought by a even larger business. And that was about $1 million furniture install contract.
Yeah.
And then this big company that's in many states that had come in had said, we love what you do for us. However, we're in these 13 other states, and so we won't need you anymore when, we come in here.
Yeah.
And we said, we understand, but can we pitch you an idea? And the guy that was our contact there was the original entrepreneur of the small business we started out with.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd love to hear it. And so we said, well, how about you let us take over those 13 other states, and you can add into your wallet share the technology piece.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love the way you think, but we just can't.
Yeah.
Right? We've got all of these legal agreements.
Right.
And we said, well, we had to try.
Right.
He said, I understand. And so then we parted ways, and we said, well, what are we going to do now to replace $1 million of labor revenue?
Yeah.
Right? And so we said, well, I guess it's time to start selling new furniture.
Yeah.
We never had, because we didn't want to bite the hand that fed us.
Right.
That was really important to us from an integrity standpoint. And, we had sold the used furniture, and we had started selling some refurbished furniture for the state of Arizona. Ended up on a contract there for that. And we always made sure that they didn't care, which they didn't care about refurbished or used. And so then we started selling new furniture. And this was in 2010, right at the end of the recession. All of the tier one, like the Mercedes-Benz, if you will, of furniture, all of those dealerships were taken, right? All of those lines were spoken for, and there can really only be one per market.
Yeah.
And we found a great product line called AIS. They're just outside of Boston, Mass. They're still our flagship today.
Yeah.
So this was in 2010.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
16 years ago. Great product, and has been really growing. But they're known to be that mid-market, that value-based product, which is really kind of what we stand for. We love a good tried and true product that will stand the test of time and have all the warranties that you need and want.
Right.
And we've grown with it, and they've been fantastic. So then when we started the furniture piece, we then ramped up and hired salespeople and operations people and more furniture installers. But really, we have the largest number for commercial moving company, we have the largest number of in-house installers.
Yeah.
And for a furniture dealer as well. And here in the state, we are the largest provider of AIS, number one dealer here in the state of Arizona, but also the largest west of the Mississippi and number 6 in the United States.
Wow.
So what that means is we get great pricing,
Right.
which we love to pass on to our clients because I love a good deal and I love giving a good deal, right?
Right.
Especially with great products. So our service lines then went from technology, moving, and telecommunications to commercial furniture, relocation, and technology. Yeah. And we've been those 3 things since 2010. And then, of course, there was the pandemic.
Yes.
So,
which for your business was probably really, really difficult.
Right. I was thinking, okay, we've done this before. We actually, not that we've done a pandemic before.
Right.
But we've been in a downturn. Right.
In a downturn.
So what's the problem that needs to be solved?
Yeah.
So we just really try to jump to that very quickly.
Yeah.
to see, and usually it does find us.
Yes.
And the biggest issue, well, we were considered an essential business because we do work in for hospital systems and things like
government
that, and
facilities,
government and all of that.
Yes.
And so, thankfully, we were essential. And anyway, it was a trying time, obviously, for so many reasons, right? COVID, people were scared.
Yeah.
And so many people were now working from home,
Right.
from their kitchen table,
Yeah.
or from their bedroom, trying to have a peace and quiet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because kids were home, everybody
Right.
was home.
Exactly.
And so we created work from home spaces, if you will, that were very simple. Because some people didn't have room for a whole home office.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or for kids, too.
Yeah.
So we had a very simple, we had options that ranged from simple all the way up to home office, obviously. But the simple could be very affordable.
Yeah.
Just a desk and a chair.
Yeah.
Do you need monitor arms? What are the different pieces that you need? And are you comfortable with us delivering it or not?
Right.
Or do you want to come pick it up? And so it ranged from very affordable to very high end.
Right.
And they could come pick it up, or we could deliver and install it. But some people were not comfortable with that at that time.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a really big piece for us. We ended up working with companies who gave their employees a stipend. Yes. Which was really great because then the employees get to pick out what went with their household.
Yeah.
Right? And they had a certain allowance. And then if they wanted to spend more, they could. And it worked out really well. The other pieces that some of our clients, like Charles Schwab, for instance, we do a lot of work for them here and also in Texas.
Now you're out of state. I mean, you've grown to a different state now.
And Texas, and also even in several other states on the East Coast.
Yes.
And so, but they decided to make good use of this time and put in new carpets. Well, what happens when you put in new carpets? All the furniture comes out.
All the furniture comes out.
Yeah. And so we did a lot of that type of work. A lot of people were revisiting their layout. They wanted bigger spaces, 6 feet, all of that. So we were doing a lot of that type of work at that time as well.
That's amazing. One of the things that I take away from the journey that you have been on, and it is a journey, is that you seem to always say yes.
Yes.
And figure out how to get it done.
Yes.
That is one style of... How do you where do you think you find the courage for that? Because that's not everybody, right?
Yeah. I love that you say that. Actually, I got goosebumps because one of my favorite quotes is Amelia Earhart. And it's basically lean into your fear. That's where you'll find your courage.
Yeah.
So we're scared to death, right?
Yeah.
But we have confidence that we've got a great team.
Yeah.
Really surround myself with really smart people, really ambitious people who say yes and figure it out.
Yeah.
We know how to make it happen. If it's something that is really way beyond us, we know a lot of people and we'll bring in other entities to help. Like, I'm not going to give anybody legal advice, right? So we do know where to draw the line. But if we can find those areas that really can come together, so we have these 3 different divisions, but our sweet spot is really when a company is moving, we're 10 different vendors in one, and they all go together. If you've ever been through a company move, there's so many moving pieces. Yeah.
Absolutely. That makes, incredible sense. And I don't want to skip over the team component because I think that's really for people watching this. I know team is always a struggle, but you have built really an amazing culture. Did you always know you wanted to build that culture, or did that? Yeah.
Always. I always knew that. I just knew I wanted to spend most of my time with people that work hard and like to play a little.
Yeah.
So we have fun.
Yeah.
But also that serve. And that's really the heartbeat of who we are.
Yeah.
And we have our Lawn Serve initiative where we have unlimited paid service days.
Yeah.
Which
is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
That's
fun.
really an amazing thing.
Thank you. We actually just had a blood drive last night. That was something new for us. And
that
was really fun. Yeah. But we have a lot of different things that we do throughout the year, as well as people can go and do something on their own, as I mentioned. But we also do fun things. We just know that it's important because we spend more of our waking hours with each other than we do with our own families. right?
Exactly.
So it's so important to have the right mix of people. And also, if you want to grow your business, you need to have people who are smarter than you and can make different things happen. If you have everybody that's just like you won't grow.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's really critical advice, because I think that a lot of times when entrepreneurs are first starting out, they tend to hire more sort of in their own vein.
Yeah.
And really the growth comes from hiring people who have different perspectives and are good in places where you may not be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and I did that too.
Yeah.
I thought, I
Well,
need
it's a
another
common-
me.
yeah.
I need another me.
Yeah.
No, I don't need another me.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
There's only one you.
Right,
So no, I think that's a common mistake. So it's really important for people to hear that from someone who that's really where the growth occurs. Now tell me about, we've talked a little bit about how you have really kind of sown service into the culture, but also you don't have enough to do. You started a whole nonprofit called the Diaper Bank, which you kind of bake into your business. I mean, you physically use your location. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2013 is when I started the Diaper Bank of Central Arizona, and with the mission to provide 1 million diapers for local families in need here in primarily Maricopa County, Central Arizona.
Why diapers first?
Yeah. Well, when I was young, I got married young, divorced young, was a single mom, still trying to go to U of A and take classes, working 3 jobs, trying to put myself through school. And my daughter was sick one week. I went through more diapers than I expected. And one morning, I didn't have enough diapers to drop her off at daycare. Yeah. I would miss 2 classes, and I also had 2 part-time jobs that day as well. And I called one of my jobs. I was a visit supervisor for the Casa de los Niños in Tucson. And I said, I don't want to call.
Another great organization.
Yes. And Joanne was my boss. And I said, this is my problem. I don't want to miss classes. I don't want to miss work, but I don't have enough diapers. I need to have at least 6 diapers for the day. Yeah. And I only had 2. And I wouldn't get paid until 4 o'clock that day. It was Friday.
Yeah.
Right? And I had like $2 to my name.
Yeah.
And she said, you know what? We've got this diaper bank down here that gives us diapers to help families in need. Sounds like you could use a package. And she brought me this package. And that's all I needed, just that one package of diapers. But it always stuck with me, the difference that one package of diapers made for me.
Yeah.
But what does that also make for other people, right? And so that's why diapers. So I got involved with actually a really wonderful friend and mentor here, Eileen Rogers, who had started a diaper drive for Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
And she said, come join me. I'm like, I'd love to, right? Yeah. And so I got involved with the diaper drive, and then she asked me to co-chair it. I joined the board at Homeward Bound. Eventually, Eileen was moving on to other things and had me chair the diaper drive, and had started some competitive school diaper drives, which was really fun. And it really grew. And then I said, I wonder, I recalled back to my early 20 years, and I thought, is there a diaper bank here in Phoenix?
Yeah.
And there was not.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's a shame. With 1 in 3 families living in poverty right here in our own backyard, we need to have a diaper bank.
Right.
So I talked to the CEO at Homeward Bound, and I had also learned it was August. It was mid-August. In mid-September, it would be National Diaper Need Awareness Week. And I thought, ooh, if I can get this up and running by then, it'll be good PR. We can do a ribbon cutting, all these things. And so I asked if I could start it as a program of Homeward Bound to begin with, and then would eventually get my own 501c3. And she said, sure. And so within basically 2 weeks, we got a basic website up, and we're housing it in Elantech, which we still are today.
Yeah.
Here 13 years later. And all of the Elantech employees were instrumental in making that happen, and friends that had been involved in the diaper drive for many years had also helped with all of that, including Eileen, and my family, right? My youngest daughter, even at the time we were doing, I don't think any of my kids remember a time before diaper drives.
Yeah.
And my youngest one was 2.5 and in pull-ups herself, right? Helping sort diapers, and all of those things, right? And so that's how and why that got started. And then over the years, as I looked to start my own 501c3, I found it was just more complicated than I really wanted to deal with. Having a for-profit and a nonprofit in the same building with the same people has some issues.
It does have issues. Yeah, there are legal issues.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You need a separation, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with it. Yeah,
they told me my Elantech employees had to come off the Elantech clock and go on the nonprofit clock.
It would have been really difficult.
And I just thought, I can't do that. That'll affect their full-time status. So I just want to get baby diapers on baby bottoms, right? And so eventually I ended up, when I first started the diaper bank, though, I called down and found the diaper bank in Tucson that had helped me.
Right.
And I said, hi, I'm Ginger. You helped me many years ago, and I want to start a diaper bank in Phoenix. And I think they were a little shocked, and they're like, that's wonderful. Yes, we'll help you start it.
Yeah.
And the diaper bank in Southern Arizona is America's first diaper bank.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
How interesting.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that is amazing.
This little gem right here in our own state.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we ended up, they became my fiscal sponsor.
Right.
And then we legally merged in 2022.
That's awesome.
And so now we're the Arizona Diaper Bank with these locations and also one up in Flagstaff as well.
That's phenomenal.
And our mission is to really help people throughout the entire state of Arizona and those harder to reach areas. And in fact, we have a statewide diaper drive coming in September, which will be National Diaper Need Awareness Week. And so we'll be looking to get the word out with local businesses and get some help, because it just... We do help with about 3 million diapers a year, but that is a drop in the bucket.
I know.
On the need.
I know it is. What an amazing thing. I wish we could continue to talk all day because you have fascinating experience. But I want to kind of leave on the last question, which is, as a woman leader, even though you obviously have a family business and but what is sort of your most important piece of wisdom you would have for another woman entrepreneur who's kind of just starting their journey?
You can have it all. When I was young and working on my leadership journey in corporate America, that was also very male-dominated. Yeah. Great place to work and learn. But one of the older gentlemen, and I was working probably 60, 70 hours a week, right? And really trying to make a name for myself, but also wanted to be a great mom and a great wife and all of the things and community servant, right? And he just looked at me and he said, sweetheart, you can't do it all. You've got to pick one. You've got to be one or the other. And I just remember thinking, that's ridiculous. I'm going to figure this out. And so... you can figure it out. Yeah. You just have to know it's not always about perfect balance. It's really more about autonomy. And,
100%.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have talked about here that I think is really important, not that everybody should be an entrepreneur, because it isn't for everyone. However, for women, it offers an incredible amount of flexibility and autonomy that you really can't put a price tag on. Yeah. It's not easy, right?
It's not.
But you definitely have much more control over your own circumstances when you're running the show, whatever size show you want to run, right? Yeah. Than if you're working for someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was room mom to two of my kids' rooms in grade school, which I actually would not recommend. Please, if you get anything from me today, don't be room mom for 2 rooms. Anyway. Valuable lesson learned there. So I was able to do things like that. Maybe I had to get up and work at 4 a.m. Yeah. I'm more of an early person than a night person. But you find your balance. I was able to if I needed to bring a baby to school with me, or to work with me, I could bring a baby to work. Yep. And I could find that balance. And because of that and how important that is to me, we tell every single employee, do not miss those pieces. Do not miss those kids' events or your wife's events, your husband's events, those important milestone moments. Yeah. They won't always be there.
No, that's right.
And so we make a very important point of making sure that people don't miss those important pieces. And we've had people that have been with us 27 years, 22 years, 15 years. We have people that have been with us a really long time. And it's really a blessing. We actually have not just fathers and sons and mothers and daughters, because I have daughters there and a granddaughter now that's doing a little summer work. But we have 3 generations sometimes with some of our employees at our company. You don't hear of that very often.
That's amazing.
Nowadays.
It's because of the culture you've built. It really is amazing.
I'm really blessed.
Thank you very much for being here and sharing your wisdom today. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, elantech.com.
Yep.
They can, our number is 602-759-5500. Just call me.
Awesome. And what about the Diaper Bank if people want to check that out?
Yes, diaperbank.org.
Awesome. All
Yep.
right. Ginger, thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Her Table, Her Rules, and we'll see you next time.